Hello, and thank you for visiting my channel today. If you enjoyed this video, do please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, subscribe. It all really helps. Today I am going to be using some Ecoline markers that I bought recently to create a tag. I'm also going to be using some other products that I bought recently, and if you look at my last video, which was my bit of a crafty haul, you'll see some of them there. I'm starting off by using the markers to create a watercolour background. These markers are watercolour brush markers. They're really juicy, they really have a lovely fine tip as well. I've decided to create my background using this acrylic block to get a little bit more control over where I was placing my colour. So you'll see me scribbling onto the block, then adding some water and then smooshing it onto my card. This card that I've created my tag from is Bockingford hot pressed watercolour card, so it takes the water and the mediums really well. Next, I wanted to use my markers through a stencil, but because they are water-based and they're a pen, I needed to find a way that I could do that. So I decided to add some of the Pearly Winks magic drops. It's a sort of glycerin type of solution, and so it makes the watery marker be able to soak into my sponge, which I then did using my blending tool with the sponge on and through the Circle Lattice Inkable by Bee Crafty. I'll add links to where some of these products can be found in the description box below. Now I'm using the Journaling Girls stamp set from Bee Crafty. This one is the Cheer Girl, and I'm taking some of the sort of doodle elements and using the marker directly onto the stamp. This won't damage it, it's water based, so it just wipes off, and then stamping onto my tag. I'm trying to see if I can get a second or third generation sometimes as well. I could have added a little bit of water, but I decided to see whether it would work without water, and it was fine. It's really nice and juicy, and as long as you don't leave the ink too long, it will go onto the tag perfectly well. As you can see, I then decided to add some little water droplets because I remembered that because the markers are a water-based product, they will react again with water. So I splattered on some droplets and then took them off with my cloth. To create my main focal element, I'm using some of this Lavinia cardstock, which I bought recently as well. It's the first time I've used it, so I wanted to see how well it would stand up to taking my inks and how it would be with the watery based products as well. I'm using VersaFine Clair because it's a really lovely fine detail ink, so it really picks up fine details as stamps. It also stays wet a bit longer than normal VersaFine, so you can really get some embossing powder over the top of it if you want to. I tend to use the clear embossing powder over the top just so that it seals in the ink, and I know that whatever medium I choose to use to colour in the image, it's going to be fine. So that's what I did there. I added a clear embossing powder over the top and then just chased it with my heat tool until it went really black and I could see that the powder had melted all across the image. Now I'm using one of my most favourite new products that I have ever bought. These are the 5-inch snips from Tim Holtz and Tonic, and I absolutely love them. They really get into the detail of an image. So there you can see I've cut out the whole of the girl, and I've also cut out an extra skirt as well. I then realised I hadn't added any eyes. I do like my characters to have some sort of features. I decided to go with my archival ink because I didn't want to have to reheat any embossing powder in the area, and archival dries very quickly and works well with water-based products. I then got out the rest of my Ecoline markers, and I decided to colour them direct to my cardstock. And then one of the things you can do, because they are water-based, is you can then pull out the colour and you get an immediate shading with your colours onto your image. The card took the colour and the water really well and is beautifully smooth. Now you see here that even though I cut out a skirt to go over the top, I am still colouring in my bottom skirt, and that's because I do like to make sure that if you're going to see anything, that it will all be coloured in. I used 2 colours together and then blended them with the water, and it did that really easily. Next I wanted to create a skin tone, but I only had either a very bright pink or the red, so I decided to water down a bit of the red ink and then use that to create her skin tone. It was very red, so because it is water based you can then go in and take some of the colour back out. I'm doing that with a cloth. The pens also work really well if you just want to add little touches of a really intense colour. And so where I had really tiny elements to colour in, I didn't really want to use my water brush, I just used the pens direct onto the image. Then before I actually stuck my girl down, I wanted to add a little bit more interest. So this is a die cut. It's from one of the mixed media sets by Tim Holtz, created by Sizzix. I'm not sure which number set it is. I've had it for a fair while, so it's one of the older ones. It may be one of the first ones that he released. Then to make my girl stand out a little bit more, I added glue gel to the back. I think at the moment in my syringe is Pinflair, but I use whichever glue gel I'm able to get at the time. Then finally I wanted to add a sentiment to my tag. I'm choosing a sentiment from the Ticker Tape 2 set from Bee Crafty. I think it says, "Dreams are the touchstones of our character. And I love the fact that it's in the boxes, so I can just easily cut them with my large scissors. Now these scissors I am replacing very soon with the Tim Holtz 9.5-inch scissors, so I'll be able to let you know how I get on with them when they arrive. So once I decided where all my elements were going to go, I added these also with a little bit of the glue gel. And as I said, I will put some of the links in the description box below. And if you've enjoyed the video, do please like and subscribe. It's always really helpful if you can do that. Thank you for watching, and until next time, bye bye.